Kiki Classic Rock.
You know what today is? Did you know?
Today is Freaky Friday on Kiki
FM.
But it's also Yoko Ono's 89th birthday.
That's right.
I mean, is that crazy or what?
Well, it's pretty cool.
I think it's awesome.
She's a big box of spiders, that lady. But,
so what is your?
I have a first edition book that she wrote called Grapefruit.
Oh wow!
Signed by her to me.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
How did you get that?
I found it in a bookstore, and a good friend of mine was managing Lenny Kravitz at the time.
Yeah.
And he was in New York. He was going to go to New York, and he said he was going to go to see Yoko. And he said, "I'll take your book for you." And I gave him my book, and Yoko signed it for me.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I have it.
That's crazy. I mean, there's so I find it so fascinating that even after all of these decades, people are still talking about Yoko Ono and, you know, what she potentially did with the Beatles and everything. And as a matter of fact, because you are a huge, huge Beatles fan, did you watch Get Back?
Yeah, I did watch it.
And
I think it was very orchestrated towards this really jolly time when it really wasn't a jolly time for Ringo and George and John. Because the bass player, he's a workaholic, and he likes to, milk those boys and get them and to make another record and make another record and pocket all that money that he's making. So I don't. I'm reading this book.
Mm-hmm.
It's called The Memoirs of Billy Shears,
mm-hmm.
and it's about the urban folklore of Paul McCartney dying in 1966.
I remember,
and how it was all covered up by the British government, because at that time the Beatles were the biggest export at the time. They were bigger than English tea, and plus they were at the peak of Beatlemania, and at that time they were afraid that if the news got out that there would be these mass suicides all over the world.
Wow.
And so they covered it up with this guy that you and everybody else believes to be biological Paul. And the story of the book is about the person that is playing biological Paul.
What?
Revealing himself to the world and saying that I'm really not Paul McCartney. I was the guy that replaced him and all that stuff. So, but the point, the funny thing about it is that you can look up on Google top 10 conspiracies. Okay. And on the top 10 conspiracies, that Paul McCartney dead is right there in the top 3. So it's had so much smoke and fire around the subject matter, more than anybody else on this planet.
Wow, that's crazy.
And the thing is, popularity of the subject matter has grown. You can go onto YouTube and find all kinds of stuff and all kinds of clues and all kinds of things that really make you scratch your head, And then there's the people who completely grew up with this guy and know nobody else but him. And actually, he's been a Beatle longer than the biological Paul.
Oh, come on! Like, really?
No. Yeah, and this is something that has been getting bigger and bigger and bigger on the internet and stuff, and it's pretty interesting. But anyway, it's like a confession that he's giving out here, that telling how he came about into the situation and all the stuff and all the powers that be, government and everything that are there to manipulate and socially design the society. There's a division in the British intelligence. It's called Tavistock. And Tavistock is there to do social designing. And England is so small, it's like a petri dish. So, putting out suggestions, putting out advertisement, putting out an idea and selling it to people is what they do. And when they saw that the Beatles had this phenomena with young youth and these girls screaming, and it was just incredible, So they saw that and they go, we want to get into this. So they got their hands onto them, and through them, the Beatles introduced LSD, Eastern religion, fashion, hair, the sexual freedom, all the stuff came about through them. They were the pill that socially designed us to where we are now.
Who the heck knew? I mean,
who the heck knew is right. But anyway, it's a big rabbit hole, and you can spend days, going in and out of it. So anyway.
But here you are reading.
That's a book that I've been reading.
So now we've talked about it before, but what is your total connection with the Beatles? Because you really do love them, and you kind of look like a Beatle sometimes.
Well, I'll tell you what. When I was a kid, I saw the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show. Yes, I'm that old. And and my cousin took me to see the Beatles at the Hollywood Bowl when I was around 11 or 12, I think. Maybe, I think 12. And I saw them live in person at the Hollywood Bowl. So, and just being in the center of that Beatlemania, those girls screaming and everything that was going on around there. It was like a roller coaster ride, It was thrilling.
And you as a 12-year-old boy. I mean,
yeah, and so my cousin was 8 years older than me. So my cousin was all into the whole British invasion and all that. So Christmas would come and he would buy me like Beatle albums, Rolling Stones, Kinks, The Who, whoever was, the Zombies, Hollies, all these bands, that were big 60 bands. And so at a very early age, I mean, I was listening to all this stuff when I was in the 7th and 8th grade, and I was turning friends onto it, and my guy friends didn't get into it, but my girlfriend friends, they really got into it. So, we just, we had our moments. So anyway, I've always had a kind of a fascination. And then when I got my my little tape recorder when I was a kid, little tiny tape recorder, I would turn on the Beatle records, and I'd turn on my tape recorder, and I would sing along to them, and I would like blend right into it, Or I would listen to the Who, and I would turn it on my tape recorder and sing along with the Who, and blend in with the Who, or blend in with the Rolling Stones, or blend in with the Yardbirds, or whoever it was. I just would sort of chameleon my voice into that frequency.
Now, when the Beatles transitioned from their, I don't want to call it a teeny bop era, but kind of, sort of, and went into more of their, later stuff, How did you like that? I mean, did you notice that they were changing their style of music and their way of singing?
Yeah, it was a ride, you know. They kind of they broadened they broadened the wave band on music and made it more contemporary and more intellectual and, you know, just more cerebral, where the Rolling Stones were like into rhythm and blues, and that was like body music, but they still had a cerebral, you know, edge to it, you know, with the lyrics of Jagger and Richards. But the Beatles were more refined and more of a like fine abstract art going on, you know, finally, and just going into surrealism and from Sgt. Pepper, and, you know, they changed, and that's what I loved about them. Every record was different. Every record was an experience. Every record was a milestone or some sort of you know, time in your life that you remembered.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about when George went solo and Ringo? I mean, did you like that?
I loved All Things Must Pass.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the mixes could have been a little drier, but besides that, I just loved it.
Yeah,
great songs on there. You know, the guy had all those songs in the back of his pocket for all those years, and they never let him put them on the Beatle albums because, you know, Lennon and McCartney were the most dominant writers, and so you know, it was their plate. So he got one or two songs on there, and Ringo got one, you know.
Well, it worked out great for George because, I mean, that is such a fabulous album. I mean...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love the ones that he wrote with Dylan, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just stuff that you can sit here and listen to today in 2022 and just say, gosh, man, that was great. Just great, juicy music.
Yeah, that's called classic music.
Yeah, that's why we like it. That's why we're classic people, Robert.
Well, you know, I think artists that are in classic music kind of vein or in that category, I think the ones that people really follow are the bands that change all the time instead of making the same album. You know, a lot of these bands, they have their first hit and then they make the second album try to be like the first one, you know, and then the third one comes and then they do it again, you know, and then after that, the fourth time, there's like nobody's interested and the label's not interested.
Mm-hmm. What do you
know? It's either it's like, well, you draw with Crayola and then the next time you just keep drawing in Crayola when you could have gone into, you know, oils or watercolors or just pencil, just something different, you know, a different style, not the same style. You can have your personality, but change your backdrop.
Do you think that's what Paul McCartney did with his recent solo music?
I don't like his recent solo music.
Yeah. Egypt Station.
I lost interest in him a long time ago. I think I really loved Back to the Egg.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a good album.
Yeah,
and Venus and Mars. I saw that tour. That was a good tour.
Wow, you've seen so much.
Well, not that much. But I have seen a lot.
All right. So, how many Stones shows have you seen?
I've probably seen this Rolling Stones at least 6 or 7 times.
See what I mean?
And I've seen The Who probably 5 times. The very first time I saw The Who, I had run away from home from California, and I hitchhiked all the way to Colorado to a friend's, and I knocked on the door at his door, and he opens up the door and he goes, "Oh, great, Rob." He goes, "We're going to eat, and then we're going to go to Elitch's Gardens, and we're going to see The Who."
Come on.
I'm going like, "Oh, yeah, all right." So So we had lobster and steak, and because his parents were his dad was this military guy from Okinawa, and he would like every night practically he would wear like a kimono, and then he would barbecue with his Japanese barbecue egg, you know.
Wow.
And so he would get, it was just wild. He just does. So we had this meal, and then we go to this place called Elitch's Gardens in Denver, Colorado, and saw the Who perform Tommy.
Oh God. What year was that?
And they had that was probably the third time they had played that set. And because they played in New York at the New York Opera House when they opened up their first show in New York. And then they did another show, I think, Chicago or somewhere, and then they went to Denver. But anyway, yeah, so that was the very first time I saw them, and then I saw them all the way until they had Kenny Jones playing drums, and that was the last time I saw. Nope, I didn't. I saw them again in Chicago. Yeah, a couple of years, 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
So you ran away from home. Did you go back?
Pardon?
Did you go back after you ran away?
Oh yeah.
So it was just like a quick Who thing.
It was just a nutty, kid thing. Just get up and not even tell anybody, and just like hitchhike to Colorado.
Oh my God. What the heck? Like, wow. How old were you?
Oh God, I think it was like a junior in high school.
Did you get a whooping at least?
No, I didn't get a whooping. I got a ride back home.
Yeah, I guess that's better than a whooping.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my God. So would you see the Who now? Would you go today, 2022, and go see them? Yeah, I would go see them. I love Zach Starkey, who plays drums. Oh, wow.
That's Ringo's son.
I was just going to say, is that any relation to Ringo?
Yeah, that's his son, Zach.
Wow.
And Zach's godfather was Keith Moon.
Oh my gosh. Everybody's so related.
So Keith Moon gave him his first drum set, I believe.
Oh, man.
Not Ringo, his own dad.
Well, I mean, that's okay. It came from Keith Moon.
But they were great friends.
Wow.
And then I love when he plays with Oasis. When he plays with Oasis, it really kicks ass. He's a great drummer. And he does Keith Moon pretty damn well.
Well, the Who, even now, they get great reviews, I gotta say. People love it. People love them now, 76 years old. I mean...
the great thing about Pete Townsend as a songwriter is he's so simplistic musically, and the sophistication comes from the melodies and the lyrics that he writes.
Yeah.
And so that is such a great formula, And because of that formula, you're still listening to them and talking about them,
No kidding. I mean, all the time. And I could not find, I guess when the last time they were out a couple of years ago, or whatever, I could not find one bad review of their show. Not one. I mean, everybody just absolutely loved it. They sold them out. And I thought that was wonderful. I said, that is just great. All these decades later.
Yeah, I mean, they got all those people on there replicating everything that's on the records that you hear. So it's like you're hearing everything they're live as you would hear on the record, So it's quite a nice musical production, and but I'll tell you, in the day, they were just amazing.
Oh, I can just imagine.
They were just amazing.
Who is another band?
His voice, Keith Moon and Entwistle and Peter Townsend. I mean, what a gang!
Yeah,
they just kicked ass.
What is another band now from then that you still think does great? Because I saw that recently you went to go see Alice Cooper and Ace Frehley. So how was that show?
Well, I saw Alice Cooper in the day in Hollywood. And matter of fact, one day I was driving down Sunset Strip, and I recognized him. and he had a little wagon, little red wagon with Coke bottles, and he was going to the liquor store to cash the Coke bottles for money.
Come on.
No. And so then I saw him later on in his career, but I knew who he was because I had seen him play at the Whiskey A Go-Go.
Wow. Man.
So they, a lot of those bands, they weren't all making a lot of money. Not at all,
Right.
Not until they started making records did they make money.
Now, did you get to see Alice or Ace just recently when you went to that show?
You mean backstage?
Yeah.
No, I didn't go backstage. No.
It would just be...
I had too many people with me.
Your entourage. It would just be kind of cool for you to bring that story up to Alice, I think, about the Coke bottles.
Yeah. But I saw him do, what's that album? Oh, what's the album? School's Out.
Oh, wow.
I saw him do School's Out at the Hollywood Bowl in Hollywood, obviously. And it was fantastic. And they had, if you read, in the album was a pair of paper panties. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they came with little panties.
Oh, that's funny.
So at the concert, hope you're not getting excited, Al.
No, I'm fine. I'm just sitting down. Just can't wait for the next thing you're going to say here.
This helicopter comes and flies over the whole entire audience and starts dumping out these little panties.
Stop it.
Out of the helicopter.
Now, see, those were shows, right?
Yeah, but the point, the other thing is, soon after that was that accident with making that film of the Twilight Zone where the helicopter went down.
Oh my gosh. That's right. I remember that.
Vince Morrow, I guess his name was, or Vince something.
Yep.
Yeah. And I, thinking back of it, I'm going like, shit, if that helicopter, something would have happened, could you imagine? There was thousands, tens of thousands of people there. It would have just been like whirling blender.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank God it didn't.
So believe me, nobody could do that again.
No. They wouldn't allow it, right?
No way.
I mean, what was another great show that you saw back in the day? Something like that. They did something crazy. I mean, Alice did crazy things. Did you ever see Ozzy or, how about Kiss back in the day?
I saw Kiss. I went to go see Kiss on their first tour. And they played the Forum in Los Angeles. My friend Bob James had taken over Sammy Hager's singing position with Ronnie Montrose, the band Montrose. Montrose opened up for Kiss. I saw my friend play, went backstage. They had to go. I went back out in the audience and I probably watched about 3 Kiss numbers and I walked out.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean you walked out? Why?
I didn't care for it.
Stop it.
No.
And you're Mr. Kiss.
I told Gene the story.
What did he say?
And it looked at me like, huh?
I was just going to say, did he banish you or?
No. He thought I was pretty cheeky for saying it, probably,
And then you end up with Vinnie Vincent, which is kind of ironic.
Well, that was the whole thing was close to that word.
So, all right. Now, last time we spoke, you had spoken to Vinnie. You were speaking to him and stuff. Now, are you still speaking to him because he's? Yeah,
I still. I've spoken to him since and all that, but there's something's going on in Nashville. Creatures or something.
All right. So I was going to ask you about that. Now, Vinny was supposedly doing a show in Nashville Valentine's weekend, last weekend. And
I didn't know that.
yeah, and it's still on his website. However, I couldn't find anything out about it. I don't know if it happened. I don't know.
Right.
I have no idea, but it's still on his website. And yes, let me look this up here because I have it right here.
So
It
Ace
is
is going to be there.
the Creatures Fest. And
Yeah, the Creature Fest. Yeah, I've been asked if I wanted to participate in that, and they told me that Vinny was going to be there.
okay.
And I said, well, I don't want to step on anybody's, introduce. I just didn't want to just be there and without him knowing. So I told them to ask Vinny, would he mind if I was there, just because out of just courtesy.
Yeah.
Because it's, so,
You're very nice.
I just, so that's what's going on right now. That happened last week.
Oh, okay. Because I know Chip's going to be there too. Chip's enough.
Yeah, I know Chip's going to be there, and I hope I hope that I do it, because I want to hang out with Chip, and we hang out with each other anyway. But it'd be nice to hang out there at that setting there.
So now, would you be performing?
I don't think so, but I probably would go up and do some background vocals with Chip. I usually do Fly High Michelle with him.
Oh. Now, how did you guys connect anyway? Because you've been friends a really long time. You're super close. How did you guys form that relationship? When did you meet?
God, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I met him through my friend Ben and Mancow.
And you guys just hit it off?
Oh yeah, he knew about me and all that stuff, and Herbie Herbert used to be Chip's manager at one time for Enough's Enough,
right.
I believe.
Right.
So we had a little common thread there, besides just liking the same kind of music and just have twisted humor.
No, you don't have a twisted sense of humor, do you, Robert?
Yes, he does.
No, Kiki.
Yeah, that picture that picture you just put out with the snake around your neck, that was nice. I liked it.
What the hell was that? I saw that. I said, what the hell's a snake doing around his neck?
I guess it was just shock value.
Yeah, it
very,
worked.
Very shocking, Robert. I was shocked. I was in shock and awe.
Just I had a surrealist spasm.
You have those a lot, though.
I'm constantly surrealist.
You're like a modern day Picasso.
Well, that's I'll check is in the mail, Kiki, for that one.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
By the way,
talking about Picasso and stuff like that. I'm going to have a show. I believe May the 5th in Hinesdale, which is outside of Chicago.
Right.
May the 5th, I'm going to have a art show there at Acquisition Fine Arts Gallery, and I'm going to be showing my paintings that are like 5 foot by 4 foot paintings there. So it's going to be all my larger paintings and some smaller collages that I have, and that's going to be the show there. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I had a show a couple of months ago in West Palm Beach.
Yes, that went
really
very well for you, didn't it?
Yeah, it went really well. So I was really, really happy, and I'm just so I just love doing it. It's when I was around 30, I thought to myself, well, when I get to be 60 something years old, I want to just paint. and just do that for the rest of my life. And I'm here.
But how did that?
And I'm doing what I projected, and I'm doing what I love doing, and I'm just so happy, you know.
Oh, I know. And I mean, your artwork is absolutely incredible. But how did that idea, that thought, when you were 30, just pop into your mind? Because you were still, you know.
Well, because when I was 13, I did art, and I did art, and then I got interested in music, and so all my life I just did art and music. When I wasn't doing music, I was doing art, and when I wasn't doing art, I'm doing music. So it's just pretty right brain heavy, and just that's just the way I'm wired.
Now, what about music, though? Just say, perhaps, because I always have this.
I'll tell you about music.
Yeah.
For 6 years, I didn't want to do any music.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I didn't want to do music was because of this. I started writing an album, and then I found myself with an acoustic guitar, electric guitars, everything was guitars, you know, and I was like, I'm making the same stupid album again with the same tools. And so I decided that I wasn't going to use any guitars, and now I have about 7 songs that I have composed, all electronica music. So it's the music that I'm doing right now is synthesizers with, you know, just synthesizer music as a backdrop, and me singing over it. And the thing is a lot of the stuff is kind of a loop kind of feel, mm-hmm. where there are no real chords to the verses. There's no real chords at all. Basically, it's this backdrop of sonic sound landscape moving behind me, with me singing a melody that you can latch yourself onto, and I take you on this melodic lyrical ride while the music is changing, but it's not changing with chords, it's changing harmonically. And I'm following, when I listen to the music, I follow this harmonic, the harmonic tones that I hear, and I jettison the melody over those harmonic tones.
Here's the thing, Robert. When I just hear you, you just go on social media and you just start singing. I mean, it's unbelievably beautiful. Really, your voice is so, oh my gosh, it's so wonderful. And I really see you would you just say, just throwing it out there, would you sit down and do like an acoustic thing, answer questions? Just say somebody said, you know what, we want you to do that, Robert. Would you do it? Or would you say, you know what, I don't want to?
I don't want to.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's kind of like, you know, that toy, the Etch-a-Sketch.
Yeah, I was not good at that at all. Like bad.
Well, anyway, it's like, for me, I like working on the Etch-a-Sketch and doing my little picture or whatever, and maybe music or whatever, do my little Etch-a-Sketch. And then at the end, when I'm done with it, I get the Etch-a-Sketch and I turn it upside down and I shake it, and it's all clean. And I don't want, and you asked me to repeat what I did the previous picture, I couldn't do it again.
Yeah.
So I have to do a new one, and I just follow that energy.
Yeah.
And then I make it come into fruition by either, you know, a painting or by sound, music.
So I was just going to say, so this is what basically leads you also, you're doing the electronica music, but it's also, it sounds like, what leads you to do your artwork. Yeah,
because it's like the conventional way is like doing this landscape all the time, you know, but what I'm doing now is just so much more abstract and so colorful, mm-hmm. and it's so adventurous. And it's just, you know, I've played it for people. They go, I've never heard anything like this. And I go, in the back of my head, I'm going, oh, then I'm doing it right.
Yeah.
because I just want to break the envelope.
So do you plan on releasing that music?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So would you go
And
and
I'm actually thinking about talking to this German visualist that does this incredible. Have you heard of the show called Van Gogh from the museums where you walk into a Van Gogh painting?
No, I have not. That sounds interesting, though.
It's all done with projections and digital imagery and all this stuff. Anyway, I want to talk to this guy and put something together with the music that I'm doing and this German artistic composer.
That's cool.
Visual composer. Yeah. Yeah. I'm heading towards that way.
So would that just be
going into the abyss?
Well, so would that be a static show? Like it would just be somewhere where people can go and see it whenever, or would it be something that would travel?
Well, I would probably do I'd do some videos like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really neat.
So it'd be completely just visual and sonically and melodically encompassing. You know.
So you would not go on the road type of thing and perform it live?
Well, if I had to do that, I would probably have to have like big projectors behind me and all this visual stuff going on, and then they would have to play a backing track because there was no way you could reproduce it live.
Yeah, so it's too expensive. I mean, that would be such a costly show.
Yeah, because there's so many different layers and tones and everything. You know, I'd have to have at least 20 different synth players on there. You know,
yeah.
And all the different sounds at each song.
Yeah. Okay.
It would be quite an ordeal.
But I mean, I just kind of think, just saying. I mean, because we talk about you sometimes on the show, just saying. People would love to hear you. I'm not saying, oh, yeah, Robert, go out every weekend and do a show. But, maybe if it was like a once or twice a year thing.
Well, if I was going to do that, Kiki, I should have done that like 10, 15 years ago. I to go on the road and do that and just involving so many people. And I mean, it's hard enough selling a CD on your website, let alone people coming to see you play. I
get it. I get it. It's just that you haven't been out there, and I don't know. I just think people would love it. That's all.
Well, I really appreciate that, but I just like tinkering in the basement. I just love doing that.
I like tinkering in the basement too. I love tinkering in the basement. It's my favorite thing to do, Robert.
Please, Jesus.
No.
Now, when you go ahead, you can talk to Al. Fine.
No, it's fine. But I hear what you're saying.
Taxidermy down there?
No.
I made him get rid of that.
I hear what you're saying, Robert, and I agree with you 100%, man. I mean, you just want to tinker in the basement. If people want to see you, then they pay thousands of dollars, and then you might show up, right?
Right. It's just I'm so introverted in a sense,
yeah,
and so much inside that even when I was on stage in the day, and all that stuff, I didn't really want to do it.
No, I hear.
I get it.
It's like opening up for Van Halen. Okay, I opened up for Van Halen. I did like 12 dates with them or something like that, and I'd play, and then right after here would come Dave, and he would be like the big circus seal out there, just flying all over the place, and you got to have that mentality.
Yeah.
You got to have that look at me. I'm at the top of the stairs, and I'm gonna fall down to the bottom of it. Watch me. I don't have that in me. I just don't. I've just been the guy that likes to write pop songs.
We don't want you to fall down the stairs either, because that's dangerous. And please don't do that. But
yes, you can hurt yourself.
you can, woo. So when you are arting, you know, you're doing your paintings.
When I'm what?
Arting. I just made that word up.
Arting.
Yes. Do you like that?
Okay. That's
No.
too close to something else, but anyway.
Oh.
I don't know what you mean by that.
So, I mean, do you listen to music when you're creating, or is it just, you know what, I'm in my zone, leave me alone?
Yes and no. Sometimes I listen to music. I listen to a lot of different kinds of music. I don't listen to just rock and roll music all the time.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of different things. I really love Django Reinhardt. He's this gypsy that plays guitar, and he burnt his, when he was a child, he burnt his hand in a fire, and he plays guitar with 3 fingers.
Oh, wow.
And he's amazing.
Wow.
And he was pretty amazing. And I like to listen to audiobooks. I found out that, you know, those audiobooks, have you ever listened to the audiobooks?
I love them.
Well, do you know that you can change the speed, the cadence?
Really?
Yeah. So I would be listening to it and I'm going like, God, I'm ready to fall asleep, you know, because it's just my mind's working faster than what's coming out of the speakers. You know?
I hear you.
I looked at it and I found I found a way to speed up the audio book, so you can speed it up and get it to the point where your mind is clicking right there, and you're absorbing it and getting all the comprehension.
I love that, because my mind goes real fast.
Yeah, because before it was so slow, I didn't even know what the last paragraph was. You know.
Yeah.
So anyway, I listen to books sometimes while I'm painting, or I listen to classical music or jazz or just electronic music or whatever.
Yeah. Now, the last show that you had in West Palm Beach, you sold a painting that you were surprised you didn't want to sell it. Like, how did that happen?
Well, I put a crazy price on it. And I thought nobody would, you know, jump at it, and somebody did, and the gallery was just like, I couldn't say no to the gallery, because they're going to make money on it, and I want them to make money because I want them to, you know, keep showing me and representing me.
Right.
So I sold it for a big amount of money. So anyway.
All right. So
and because I sold that, I paid my property taxes so I was happy for that.
And he finished the guest room for me.
All right. So, geez,
that's right.
Your property taxes must be pretty good, because wow, that had to be like wowza.
Well,
yeah. You don't have to say, but here's the thing. So I read your post, and you said, I didn't want to, I put a crazy price on it, but it's sold. That's great. How do you get that connection though to a piece of art that you do? And it, was it hard for you to it had to be hard for you to let it go.
Your babies,
Yeah.
That's why I did the collages, because I could have those printed out and I don't care.
Yeah.
But when you have a physical, canvas, and it's, 5 foot by 4 foot canvas, with you put all this, work into it. And, I mean, it was something that I wanted to keep in my own private collection, let's say.
Yeah.
Of my own work, and just have it, just like, any artist, or Picasso or Matisse, they all had their ones that they just held back,
Mm-hmm.
But that was one that I wanted to hold back.
But how great is that someone has it and that they're enjoying it? Yeah,
that is that's the magic, that you get. That's you get to be verified.
Yeah. Now I have to ask you, because this is it's a big thing now, the whole NFT thing.
Yeah.
Julian Lennon, he just sold several items from his dad's collection, but not really. He sold the digital copies of a jacket, a guitar. People paid more money than what they would pay for the actual item. What are your thoughts on NFTs, and have you dove into the non-fungible token pool?
Well, I have had many people have discussions with me. My own gallery wants to set up something like that. I think it's kind of a fatty thing. Let's see how long it lasts. See what happens. I'm going to watch it evolve.
Yeah.
Something like that, you can always jump in, because if you have something that's cool to, sell or that people might want, then, you got a chance like anybody else. But I'd rather just watch it for a little while.
Yeah. So you're not interested at this point?
No, not really. It just seems to be like a pyramid thing, like, let's make it rich quick, whatever.
It's just,
and there's people probably listening to this conversation thinking I'm dumber than a doornail for saying that.
Nope, not at all.
Like I said, I'm just kind of hesitant. I like to watch on the side to see how it's going,
Yeah, no,
it could be a fastball or a curveball.
It's so crazy, because it seems like the art world has got the biggest piece of the NFT pie, which is why I was just so anxious to ask you that question. I'm like, what are you thinking about it?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's all because the governments want to go in have a cashless society and have digital currencies and all that stuff, so that they can be more overlooked and see where their taxes can be taken and put into their pockets. It's just a way of regulating and getting their tax money.
Oh yeah.
Basically.
It's just, isn't this whole, all right, so your daughter, how old is Violet?
Violet is 14. She's going to be 15 in July.
Wow. So what do you see her doing with the whole metaverse and all of, is she into that or no?
She probably knows all about that stuff, but I don't think she's, she doesn't have, I haven't bought her the goggles and all that stuff for all that.
Yeah.
But that, to me, that is, right now with the way kids are, they're so immersed in unreality.
Yeah.
Then why put them in more unreality?
I'm with you. I was just curious, because I know that your daughter is at that ripe age of, teenagers really diving into this virtual world of like not even connecting with real people. So I was just kind of curious in what, her thoughts were, and if she was, going down that.
But look at, if you have a whole, if you're going to influence, you got to influence with the youth, because like Disneyland or McDonald's, once you have them as a kid, you'll have them forever.
Yeah, you're right. You're so right.
And same goes to this whole virtual reality thing. And once you have that, and the way technology is, that there could be so many mind programming, altering things going on through visual and audio through those devices, and you got Big Brother behind those knobs, and you got Zuckerberg and all these sickos that believe that they can socially design and they feel like they're a power and godliness, but it's not godliness. There's nothing godly about it. It's completely satanic.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's just, when
there's more devil in the world than there is God and angels. I mean, you can turn on TV and everything is like these kids, with Ouija boards and all these, scary stuff and witches. And I mean, there's more stuff on TV like that than anything.
I must be, I guess I just kind of, I don't look into it like that. I just don't,
Well, that's because it's so prevalent that it's in everything you see.
Yeah.
Practically. If you look for the signs, they're all there.
Yeah. I know. My friend tells me that
a lot of people don't see the signs. And everybody, the majority of the world, everybody's living on their next paycheck and trying to keep their head above water,
Yeah.
And so all this other stuff that goes on when they get home after work and have their dinner and plop themselves on the potato couch, they turn on the brainwash machine, and then they absorb that, and then they just go back to work, and maybe they have a conversation about what they've been brainwashed about, and agreeing or disagreeing. It's just it's maddening cycle.
It really is. It really is. And that's why I think it's great you put yourself into your artwork, because and that's why you do what you do, and Al and I do what we do, because to me it's an escape. You don't have to really deal with that.
It's something that you do feel that's natural to you, that is your persona, and you get rewarded for it.
Just feels good,
Yeah.
I go in my happy world.
And that goes for anybody, even if you're a lawyer or a doctor. You've put in all that time and energy to be who you are.
Absolutely.
And when you accomplish that, it makes you happy, and it empowers you. So, and then to do something good or something acknowledgeable, that's God's light,
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. And that's why you have just such a nice positive vibe about you, and that's why we love you.
Well, I work hard on it.
Well, keep doing that.
I love you too,
but
Robert. You know that. I love you, right?
And there he is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Back at you.
Ditto.
Fist pump.
Ditto.
XO.
You told me a story last time we spoke about a show that you did with Journey. You guys were in Hawaii, but I read that you also did a show. You did a bunch of shows with REO Speedwagon when you were with Journey. And one show you did was with REO, 38 Special, Leonard Skinnard, and Ted Nugent. Do you remember that show? And do you have a great story from that show?
Yeah.
Do tell.
That was in Chicago at Soldier Field. And I think there must have been over 90,000 people there.
Oh, man.
And it was a hot summer day. And we got there, and we went into our trailer. And I stepped out of the trailer, and I can't remember, one of the guys from 38 Special.
Mm-hmm.
Goes, come on in. So I'm going like, okay. So we go into the room, and they got, it was funny. They had a case of Jack Daniels, like two cases of Jack Daniels on the floor, and they're, grab yourself a bottle. I was going, oh no, that's okay. But that was kind of funny. So that day, the stage had a big, like a runway that went out into the crowd. And the band was, on the stage, and my microphone was at the end of that catwalk. I don't know why it was, but it was. So they start the first song, and I can't remember what song it was. And I'm walking on the catwalk while the introduction of the song is starting, and I'm like looking behind, looking at Neil, going like, what's the first words? What are the words? I couldn't remember the words of the song.
Stop.
And so then I turn around and I'm walking down the catwalk, and there are just sea of people all the way around you. And that microphone looks like a million miles away.
Oh my God.
And I'm just going like, what is the first word? I can't remember the song. Can't remember the words, nothing. And I'm walking closer and closer to the microphone. I put my hand on the microphone, and all of a sudden it was just like, bing, I just clicked in, and I knew the words. And I sang, and it was just, and while I was walking, knowing that I couldn't remember the words in my head, I was going, "You better do it now, or you're never going to have a chance to ever do it again." You know. So
was it nerves? Was it nerves?
It was nerves, everything. I'd never played in front of that many people before.
Man.
And then having to walk out into a catwalk into the sea of people, you know, it was like, it was kind of scary.
Well, yeah. I mean, 90,000.
I got stymied there for a moment or two.
Well, yeah. I mean,
and I was just so scared. I was just like, oh my God, why can't I remember it? You know.
Wow, but you did. You pulled it out.
Yeah, it was like automatic writing, you know, just automatically just came in and just somebody the light switch got turned on.
Now, how about REO or Ted Nugent, 38 Special Leonard Skinner? I mean, have you seen any of those guys since those 70s days?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. Maybe I saw one of the guitar player that passed away. I saw him years later in the Valley in California.
Yeah.
That passed away in REO Speedwagon.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Now, on October 25th, Herbie Herbert passed away. What was that day like for you when you found out he had passed?
Well, I had known that it was coming because I had talked to Chip, and Chip was speaking to Herbie's wife and all that. So I kind of had a heads up on what was going on with him. So it was it was just kind of waiting for the shoe to drop, you know. And regardless, it's still sad, but you know, everybody has their interpretation of me and Herbie's relationship, and I had great respect for Herbie.
Yeah.
Herbie was an incredible manager. He could sell ice to Eskimos, you know, and he just packaged Journey like a candy bar, and just had it all right there. And he did a great job. And he did what he had to do. You know, he was given an offer that he couldn't refuse. So, you know, kudos for him. You know, it being associated with them changed my life, changed with them, changed their life. So it was, you know, even exchange of, you know, energy.
What is your most vivid memory of Herbie?
Sitting at his desk going, I just got this big bag of African elephant weed. And he rolls this big joint. And then he reads I Ching. Everybody's I Ching.
Wow, that's a great story. Man. Now, all right, so Vinnie Vincent.
Yeah.
So you know, would you perform with him again after that last debacle? Would you do it?
What do you mean debacle?
Well, I mean the whole.
We played at the Kiss thing when I went on the stage with him.
No, because that was a beautiful moment. No. Yeah. I'm talking about when you were supposed to go play that show with him, and then it didn't happen. It was in November.
That album is all about youth. And it's like an Olympic runner going and getting gold, and then 40 years later, they expected to go do gold again. It's just not physically possible.
No, remember when you guys were supposed to do a show together, and then you said, "Yeah, I'm not going to do that." I don't recall all of the details, but it wasn't, it was just not. It seemed like it wasn't left on a good note. But I know that you talked to Vinny and stuff like that. So,
well, every time I say no, it's not because of Vinny.
Yeah,
it's always because of the managers or the production people or whatever that is squirrely.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go to jump on the tree with the squirrels,
Yeah, no, I get it. But that moment that you and Vinny did, was it at the Atlanta Kiss Expo?
Yeah.
That was
completely impromptu.
You know what though, Robert? That was amazing. That really, and that touched so many people, and you were very emotional. You were so emotional. That was a wonderful, wonderful moment.
It was like if somebody had passed away, and all of a sudden you're sitting next to them, and you're sitting next to them.
Yeah,
it was like kind of thing, because he'd been gone for so many years, and so many stories whirling around him and everything. It's just it was just like he climbed out of the wreckage and he was there. And just was like, couldn't believe it.
I kind of hope that you guys will be in Nashville together this year. I think that would be incredible.
I think it should happen.
I hope it does.
Because regardless of our past and all that stuff, we're way over that. I'm too old to carry that cross.
You can't. Right. You're absolutely right. You can't, because you know what? That crap is just too heavy.
Yeah, because life, my perspective now is a lot broader than it was back then or whatever.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and I think that's true.
And that goes with everybody, as we walk through life, we forgive sisters and brothers and aunts and uncles and moms and dads for stupid things, and that were really not worth, stifling. You're right.
You're absolutely right. So this year,
had you not stifled, who knows, what kind of good could possibly come out of those situations,
yeah,
with relationships.
And it's all about bringing the good out, and
it's all about memories,
Yeah,
that's all we got.
It's true. It's true. Now, what shows are you going to see this year? Do you have anything on the list that you want to go to? You want to see?
Kiki, it's not like I go on and look for movies. I don't know who's playing. Friends call me up going, "Hey, we're playing in here," or a friend of mine, "Hey, are you going to go see so and so? They're going to be there," And if I happen to know somebody in the band or whatever, I usually go. Or whoever's around. I mean, like the last thing I saw was the last time I went to a show was the Alice Cooper show with Ace Frehley. So
yeah,
that was kind of good. And then I love this one band that I see. They do Pink Floyd. They're called Echoes of Pompeii.
Oh,
they are just amazing Pink Floyd replica band. I just love them. And so I go see them play, and it's just terrific.
Oh, see, that's cool. This is what I mean, like the whole live music thing, and it just feels good to get out there and listen to what you love.
Go out and see something I really enjoy, and I yeah, that's really something.
Yeah.
Like somebody asked me, "Hey, you want to go see? Come with me to go see America?" And I go, well, you know, I would have loved to see in America in the day, but I don't want to go up there and see, you know, guys up there. Yeah, they got great songs and everything, and they're touring, and they probably sing really well, but I'd rather just have seen them in the day or listen to their records than to see them now when they're in their 60s and 70s. I mean, come on. I mean, shit. I want to see, when I go to the supermarket, I want to go get fresh produce.
Why am I laughing my ass off?
Oh
I just can't.
I'm sorry.
No.
I want a good orange.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
I'm peeing my pants right now.
It sounds very cynical, but it's just, God, you know, I'd rather see somebody new than to see somebody old. I already know, or I've already seen them in their day, so I have the memory of them, and I don't want to ruin it. You know?
Yeah. No, I can't. You're just so honest. I love it.
I just can't. I can't.
Well, I have to look at Al every day, though.
Oh,
I mean,
come on, knock it off.
What is
Hey.
that? What is that?
I know.
Payback's a bitch. Okay.
I mean, yeah, you got to do that. I understand.
Oh, God. The cross that I have to bear.
Robert, stop trying to encourage her, okay? Pipe down, will you? Be professional.
Well, Robert, I hope that 2022 is the year we can meet. I really do.
Well,
You're like, no.
I just had a sip of some whiskey.
Oh, yum. All right, good. I'm going to pour
Some
my
Irish whiskey, actually.
Ooh,
Really?
yummy.
Yeah, Al, you have to have this whiskey with me. There's this boutique whiskey company that from the Irish whiskey distillery called
Yeah.
Redbreast.
Redbreast?
And yeah,
Oh, I like it.
I know you do.
Oh.
So anyway,
Can't.
they make this really great whiskey. It's called Castrate whiskey.
It's called
Oh,
what?
Jesus.
Castrate?
Cast Straight
Okay.
strength.
No.
And so it's very good, and it's kind of fruity with a vanilla aftertaste,
Mm.
and it's just really spicy and really great. Anyway, I recommend you find a bottle.
That's great.
You won't be disappointed.
So you like cheese? You were telling me earlier today. What kind of cheese you like again?
I like sharp cheddar.
Yeah. Okay.
5-year-old, 10-year-old sharp cheddar.
Wow.
Is there a good place in Wisconsin to get cheese?
There's places all over the place. There's places near you to get good cheese.
Well,
You just have to look.
Yeah, but see,
I don't know.
see, Robert, you're not following along here. The reason why she's asking that because she wants to come and visit you. And
Well, the only place I know is quite a distance from me.
okay.
Madison, Wisconsin. There's a cheese shop there called Fromage Nation.
Oh, fromage.
And they have aged cheese. I mean, to get like a thumb's worth of some cheese there, you'd have to pay $20 because it's just so divine. It tastes so good.
Yum.
So when I go there, I'll buy like $50 worth of cheese. Just so I get a little slice of this, a slice of that, a slice of that, and then whenever I get the munchies or anything like that, or I'm hungry and I don't want to eat something big or whatever, I have a slice of that cheese, and it's so good and so tasty and so satisfying that it just curbs my whole appetite of wanting to have a bunch of food.
See,
Because it just tastes so good.
Gosh, I just love cheese. I can't tell you. Like, I had cheese for lunch yesterday. Just cheese. Oh,
Really good.
to tell you. So we went to an estate sale last weekend, and I thought of you when I bought this. It's a humongous Beatles. Well, it's an Abbey Road. I don't even know what it is. I don't know if it's a poster or a lithic. I don't know what it is, but I got it, and we're going to be putting it up in the studio. It's humongous. I paid $20, and I was so happy.
Does it have any writing on it? Like
Nope.
like who it was printed by on the edges or on the back?
Well, the guy...
Does it say Capitol Records on it or anything like that?
I can't see anything. The guy who we bought it from, he made the frame. It's a disaster. And he said, I was trying...
You're going to take it out of the frame then?
I haven't done that yet, no.
Yeah. Well, maybe you'll see if it has any markings.
It's the coolest thing ever, and I'm like, I have to have it.
And it sounds like it's in good condition.
Robert, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on and checking up on me, and I really appreciate it. And I love you too, and always good to talk to you, and love you guys.